The moon is the natural permanent orbiting body of our planet. There are many other planets in our solar system that have their own orbiting bodies. The moon is the second largest satellite in our solar system. The first number is for Jupiter's satellite, for our moon. Water cannot exist on its surface because it is bombarded with solar radiations because it lacks Earth-like atmosphere. The surface of the moon is just like Mars, dry and hostile. The simultaneous social feedback for performance improvement in communal settings may influence the Marvel characters of a person. The innate abilities come from continuous improvement of social skills from generations. Thus, anyone wants to get an upper hand should get used to objectives planning and analysis of past experiences. While blue is one of the most popular colors, it is one of the least appetizing. Blue food is rare in nature. Food researchers say that when humans searched for food, they learned to avoid toxic or spoiled objects, which were often blue, black, or purple. When food dyed blue is served to study subjects, they lose appetite. The maximum yield of plants, determined by their genetic potential, is seldom achieved because factors such as insufficient water or nutrients, adverse climate conditions, plant diseases, and insect damage will limit growth at some stage. Plants subjected to these biotic and abiotic constraints are said to be stressed. When we recycle, used materials are converted into new products, reducing the need to consume natural resources if used materials are not recycled. New products are made by extracting fresh, raw material from the earth through mining and forestry. Recycling helps conserve important raw materials and protects natural habitats for the future. Traditional divisions of domestic work are understood to persist because of the strong association of the home with femininity and paid work with masculinity. To challenge who does what in the home is arguably tantamount to challenging what it is to be a woman or a man. shrimp farmers used to hold animals in nursery ponds for 30 to 60 days. Now they try to move them into grow-up ponds in less than 30 days. This reduces stress on the animals and dramatically increases survivals in the grow-up ponds. Many farms that abandon nursery ponds have gone back to them, and the results have been surprisingly positive. They're using the old, uncovered, earthen nursery ponds. A national study into fraud by bookkeepers employed at small and medium-sized businesses has uncovered 65 instances of theft in more than 5 years, with more than $31 million stolen. Of the cases identified by the research, 56 involved women and 9 instances involved men. However, male bookkeepers who defrauded their employers stole 3 times, on average, the amount that women stole. Long isolated from Western Europe, Russia grew up without participating in the development like the Reformation that many Russians, taking pride in their unique culture, find dubious value. Russia is, as a result, the most unusual member of the European family. If indeed it is European at all, the question is still open to debate, particularly among Russians themselves. This is what needs to happen on climate change. The world needs to put a price on carbon emissions and let the market respond. If politicians pretend this can be done without pain, it will probably result in another 5 to 10 years of pretending to take action. Akimbo. This must be one of the odder-looking words in the language and puzzles us in part because it doesn't seem to have any relatives. What's more, it is now virtually a fossil word, until recently almost invariably found in arms akimbo, a posture in which a person stands with hands on hips and elbows sharply bent outward, one signaling impatience, hostility, or contempt. Boys still score somewhat better at maths, and in science the genders are roughly equal. But when it comes to the students who really struggle, the difference is stark. Boys are 50% more likely than girls to fall short of basic standards in all 3 areas. Researchers suggest that doing homework set by teachers is linked to better performance in maths, reading, and science. Adult frogs generally have a carnivorous diet consisting of small invertebrates, but omnivorous species exist and a few feed on fruit. Frogs are extremely efficient at converting what they eat into body mass. They are an important food source for predators and part of the food web dynamics of many of the world's ecosystems. We have found that energy insecurity is a growing and vexing problem among low-income households, and the COVID-19 pandemic has made this problem worse. Our analysis finds that there are disparities in rates of energy insecurity across various socio-demographic groups. If one needed to adapt dozens of genes changes in concert in order to acquire the penetrating minds that we now have, which our ancestors 5,000 years ago didn't have, the evolution could not have taken place. It could not have occurred so quickly. About hazardous chemical products with a picture of the front and back side of a pesticide pot. There is a lawn in front of the front side of the pot. A warning label is attached to the back side of the pot. The label is badly designed because the font in it is so small that many people possibly can't see it clearly. Even more dangerous is their failure to remain awake when driving or operating machinery. Falling asleep in such situations could obviously be life-threatening. Many hypersomniacs suffer from narcolepsy, for which the primary symptom is excessive daytime sleepiness. Light pollution also affects animals who depend on a nighttime environment to survive. Many bird species use the stars to navigate at night. Maybe sea turtles use moonlight reflected off the ocean to guide them back to the water, city. Lights can confuse them and veer them off course. The most common way to observe the skies is to photograph them. The process is very simple. First, a photographic plate is coated with a light-sensitive material. The plate is positioned so that the image received by the telescope is recorded on it. Then the image can be developed, enlarged, and published so that many people can study it. Many parents communicate and educate their children with two languages, probably because they both know more than one language or they come from different countries. Most of these parents think this can benefit their children's language learning. But actually kids will get confused when their parents use different languages from each other too. Describe the same object.